Hello, all you imps, pixies, and other fine fae folk. It's me, Michelle, the Hobby Hobbit. This is a channel where we play with different kinds of arts and crafts things, but we are master of none. To those of you who've just wandered across my channel, hi, I would love it if you would consider giving me a like and a subscribe. It helps my baby channel grow. To those of you who have subscribed and have come back, hi, how are you? How you doing? Welcome back. Right, in my description box, I got lots of links, channels to support, channels to inspire, product I like. I also have some Etsy shops. Erin at My Scrap Cabin Shop has a discount code of Hobbit10. Do know Etsy does not stack coupons, so if she has a higher coupon in place, use that, yeah? Tukey Designs, Hobby 75. And then I want to do a little shout out to my friend June, Vintage Paper by Design. She's got some really cool ephemera and like coupon folders. They're really cool. She's got some Halloween stock in there, yeah? Go check them out. Today, I thought, you know what? Honestly, I got the new stamps from Tim Holtz, the little stamp books that he put out, and they're awful bright. And I thought, you know, a lot of people don't, not saying anything against the fabulous Mr. Tim Holtz, but some people may not know how to bring down those bright colors if they want them to be a little bit more grungy to suit in something, so they may not use that. Do you follow me? So what I did is I thought, okay, well, we're going to make some bright colors grungy. I've got a start color, and then I've got the color we're going to work on. I've got a bunch of different colors so we can play with it. I am going to use different kinds of distress inks and oxides. I have tea dye, walnut stain, scorched timber. I love this. This is the newest color. I love it. We have ground espresso, and then we have vintage photo. Okay, so I also have Victorian velvet, but that's more for shabby chic, in my opinion. It's not necessarily something for the for what I'm going for, if that makes any kind of sense to you. That it's not what I'm going for. And I'm dropping all of these. How'd you like that impromptu singing? Not the greatest, I know, but it is what it is. Let me get these guys shoved back in here so I can get them put back up. Okay, now I want to grab this technique. I personally feel works better when you are using brushes than when you are not. That is just my opinion. So I'm going to use, that's definitely that color, so I'll use that for the tea dye, and the vintage photo, I'll use that for those two. And then these two can be this one, and then I'll use this for this one, I think is how I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so to me, when I'm bringing something from super bright to want to dull it down, I want to do a couple things, yeah? The first thing I want to do, I'm going to get my brush good and yickety. I'm going to come in, and this isn't really going to make much difference at this point because of this color, but just watch the end result, okay? I'm just kind of coming in on, this is like sticker backing paper, so it's something that I can go back and pick up the color and put it onto something else if I wanted to. Now, see, I'm just going to lightly brush the center. So now I've got this really good base coat of these colors, but you can still see that yellow in there, yeah? Then what I want to do is I want to grab some of this darker color, the ground espresso, and I'm just going to come in here, just tickle the edges with it. The point of this is to make it a little bit darker and to show that it's kind of worn and torn and aged, and to dull the color down but still have that color show through. So I have effectively gone from this really bright color to now we've got this duller color that you can use in virtually any kind of, it'll go with anything, and it's still got that hint of yellow, so you can still use yellow in your journal, yeah? So we'll do a brighter yellow now just to kind of show you the difference in that. For this one, I'm going to, instead of tea dye, I'm going to do vintage photo, and I think I'm going to do walnut stain as the two colors, yeah? So I'm going to come back in with my brush, and again, I just feel like the brushes work better for this technique. And I'm just going to kind of come in. And you can see already how it just kind of grunges it all down right away, yeah? And I'm going to leave that very center so we still have a hint of our color. Don't mind my fingers, I'm going to get really yickety with this. And then we come in with our walnut. And I'm just going to grab into the edges here. Not going very far in. Just enough to get that second dimension, that second layer of coloring in there. So now we've gone this from the super, super bright to a duller vintagey color. How about we do a bright green? We'll just do the same two colors. Actually, no, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do Vintage Photo, and then we're going to do Ground Espresso. So you see what I'm doing. I'm choosing a lighter color to kind of go into it. And really, I mean, you could just do this with the one color. It will work. I just happen to like to make it kind of just pop a little bit more off the page with that second darker color around the edge to show that layering of the aging effect. And you just need that little hint around the edge of that darker color to make it look and feel more old and tattered and worn. Yeah? So there we go. You see where I'm going with this, guys? We can do, let's do pink. Real pretty pink. This I would do with a lighter color. So I'm going to do tea dye and walnut stain. I'm just coming on in. You know the drill by now, but I just want to show you, like, you can, even if it's a really bright and happy color, if you're looking for something to make it look more old and tattered and vintage, you can certainly do this with any kind of color. And just like that, that alone dulls it down enough that you could use it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the second layer like I keep adding on. I just think it adds another depth to it. Because then the edges look more worn, faded, and old, and it has the appearance that the aging is working its way into the center of the material, yeah? So yeah, I mean, you could just see the difference there, yeah? And you see all I'm doing is just like back and forth, just rub it into it. Now, I got red. We already know this is a really dark color. So I'm going to change this up. I'm going to put walnut stain, and I'm going to do scorched timber. Those are the ones I'm going to do. And I don't want to just, for one little thing, I'm not going to do this with the brush. So we're going to come on in all the way around. Just to turn this really Christmassy color, because you know there's a lot of vintagey kind of Christmas cards that come around and papers and things. So this is how you can add this just standard cardstock to that to make it fit in with the design and theme when you're going for a grungy Christmas, yeah? So that there, I mean, you can already tell the difference. You can already see it, yeah? But we're going to go one level deeper, and instead of coming around the edges on this, I'm doing this scorched timber. It's got that hint of green, which I think for Christmas colors, it's going to kind of show in there. And I'm going to go ahead and use my dauber just to grab that little, oh, that's beautiful. Just to grab that little bit around the edge to make it pop. That is flippin' gorgeous, yo. And so now we've gone from that to that. Now, another thing that I like about these brushes is, the reason why I like to do the brushes more is because it does it in a more spread out kind of. It's a softer kind of, whereas when we use the daubers, it's going to be a bit. So sometimes you can come in a little flat on it and come wider to help soften that. It makes it a little deeper in the, instead of just going right around the edge and the corner, it brings it in a little deeper and softens it. See the difference there? Just from the way the angle that you're holding your dauber. Okay, let's go ahead and do a purple. We'll do this light purple here. Same thing, we're just gonna play around with colors. And let's see, tea dye. And like with this here, I might stop and say, oh no, what have I done? But if you trust in the process and you just continue with it, you'll see that it'll work out. Like here, I'll be like, okay, so I've turned this from purple to kind of a pink. Now watch. We're gonna go ahead and do this scorched timber with it. We haven't played with that. Let's go ahead. Coming all the way around. And I'm changing my angling so that it's not all flat, but not all on the side, so that we've got that difference in the depth of it. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? Doesn't that look gorgeous, you guys? Oh, it's just beautiful. Oh, I just love it. It's just, it's such a fun process to change from one thing to another. This is like a light blue. And these are just cardstocks I got from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Joann's. In their little packages, you know, you get multicolors. That's all this is. We're gonna make this pop a little dark. Now see, I feel like this would work with a Stamperia kind of palette, don't you think? See how bright that was and how we've dulled it down to look vintagey. So I'm not going to go through all the colors that I had planned, because I mean it's literally the same process over and over and over. You just kind of go through on one side, and if you don't have the brushes, use the daubers. You saw how I did the difference. Just kind of here, in fact I'll show you. Excuse me. I think this is a vintage photo. Okay, so I'm not going to use the dauber on this, or the thing. So I'm just going to, with my dauber, go flat. So to show you what I'm doing here, if you can see, I'm just kind of going flat against it. So I've got a wider amount that's touching the edges all the way around. Now that does have a fold, so it's not going to quite pick it up, but that's okay, because that's the natural of paper, right? It's not always going to have that straight line in it. So I've kind of come around, and now we shall go with this. Why not? We'll use the scorchers again, or scorched timber. And again, I'm just kind of, I guess I'm at a not quite flat angle. I'm kind of at a 45-degree angle when I'm doing this. I'm doing it enough that it hits where I want it to, but not so much that it's covering up the first layer of color that I've thrown down. And there you have it. So you can use it with your dauber or with the brush. I happen to prefer the brush, but either way works. They're both just as quick. And there's your differences, yeah? So let me kind of get these kind of scooched up here, and then we'll bring out all of our colors and I'll show you the differences, yeah? So we've got our, there, the reds, some of the greens, this blue, light purple, lilac kind of color, our pink, a sunflower yellow, and then this bright kind of daisy yellow. Okay, and until next time, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.